Who make you lie down? Yo, yo, Mayegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun the command of the masses, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun the political, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not day of in mind, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Person where they do even no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, my people make you shout. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo. Man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, oh, yo,
Hello there.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Mayegun làwa mọ̀, làwọn tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Mayegun.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Thank you very much for joining me once again on Mayegun's Diary Politico, the Temple of Truth, normally called the GO of the Temple of Truth. And that is the General Overseer of the Temple of Truth, Mayegun General. We will begin to change that now. Instead of the Baba GO, just call me the OG. Just kind of turn it around. The Overseer General of the Temple of Truth. Brethren, sistren, share the broadcast.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé.
Thank you. Share this broadcast. Mayegun today. Read the caption of the broadcast. Read the description of the broadcast. Share your own views. But before that, like the broadcast. Share the video. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. And tell them.
Presido bá rúfin o. Àní ẹ̀sùn rà yìí. Gómìnà kówó jẹ. Àní ẹ̀sùn rà yìí. Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí fa. Àní ẹ̀sùn rà yìí.
Mumu ticket, Muslim ticket that I told you was a fraud. The North cries out.
Òkúra olóṣèlú. Àní ẹ̀sùn rà yìí. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé.
Mo ti dé. So good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live. And to the brethren who are going to probably be seeing this later, always remember this, okay? As we go into the 2024, all right, on this platform, I am going to continue, or should I say, we are going to continue to sort of prepare our minds for what is, for what is lying ahead. However, just same thing as well, little sort of a rebranding, okay? From 2024, you will be addressing Mayegun General as the OG of the Temple of Truth. It is more like streetwise. It connects well, comes with an authority, so that when next you see me and you shout OG, I'll just point at you and say, that's my guy. Brethren. Anyway, the Overseer General of the Temple of Truth, Mayegun General, is back here tonight. And thank you if you have indeed shared the broadcast. I was sleeping this morning when this bucket of sort of tears per se just landed on my laps, and it was coming from the a region that some of their people believe that they sort of have that born to rule mentality, kind of. And when they were pushing their religious politics of Muslim tickets, then gaslighted their oppositions that if you don't like Muslim tickets, you are just Islamophobic. Politics is not about religion. It can be Muslim, and there's nothing wrong in that. Can it be Christian? It's just that, listen, Nigeria has and we're telling them that those who were pushing Muslim tickets were doing so for their own gain, not to protect you. I used Bokwari as a good example for years, that if you have been one of those who usually bought the lies that once somebody is from your ethnic nationality or from your own region, from your own part of Nigeria, it gives you, or probably it brings you closer to the government. You have more jobs, you have more money, your economy is probably going to be better. And then, that mentality, or you kind of be safer. For example, a Yoruba president cannot open his eyes and look away when criminals are killing and kidnapping Yorubas. That is old school. You will be a dumb to believe that. You lived for 8 years under Bokwari. Under Bokwari, Northerners were slaughtered like they actually have no government up to this moment. And Bokwari is a Muslim, is a Northerner, and yet he couldn't protect them. So why would you go and connect your liberty, your safety, your economic survivor on the criminals who are flying religious card without any sort of a shame? I said it. They said, what is wrong with that? I said, everything is wrong with that. Because behind it, they will easily appeal to that your own weak point. Because a lot of you, and you know that is almost general, sure you get. People like us, like we are called Omo issue. Sure you get. When you ask people, when you tell people that, listen, God cannot do what man should do. Okay? God is not a magician. So if you're having a conversation with Nigeria, serious critical conversation, when they get to a stage that they believe that they have nothing to say or to back up whatever defense they are putting up, right? They will just drop God in it. And when you say, leave God out of it, then that's where they will get you. What do you mean leave God out of it? Are you smarter than God? Do you know better than God? How can you say we should leave God out of it? You always believe that you know everything. Before you know it, the conversation is going to end. Nigerians and God, it is the most dubious thing. If you see any Nigerian, I am saying this now as a matter of fact, okay? If you see any Nigerian where you are having a serious critical conversation and they suddenly, just because they want you to either stop talking about it or they just want to divert your attention completely. The moment they quickly drop God or this and that, excuse yourself from that conversation. Straight, no matter how much or how hard it is for you to excuse yourself, just do it. Because what will end it is going to be total manipulation. Okay? They're going to make you feel like, you know what? Even if you want something good or better to work out there, right? You don't have the capacity if God does not give you the power to do it. So don't talk to people like that. It's pure waste of time. Mumu ticket. It will make Muslim what? That they will have a better economy than others, Abi. They were even saying, because Tinubu was not Muslimist enough. You all saw that, or you heard that, or they said because Kolu was not a Muslimist, was not Muslim enough. If he decided to go to northern Nigeria or any other part to choose a vice president, they were never going to listen to him or allow him to do their regular rigging. So people who decided to use politics, use religion, in order to have their way politically, they have no plan for you. Everything you probably are thinking because of your religion, you are hallucinating, you are deluded. And your illusion and delusion are now coming back to haunt them. I'm glad the guy that spoke pointed at all of this. They are now saying that protest is not haram. In 6 months, they believe that Tinubu has no interest in them. It gives no damn about them, as it should be. Doesn't mean that the Yorubas are having it better. But you will still see the deluded Yorubas who believes that Tinubu is there and their interest is being protected too, but they are existing in the same quagmire, by the way. Well, listen to this guy. He's a regular. You probably know his face anyway. I just want you to pick his words before we continue. Here.
That's why I'm saying the optics are very bad for the military. Very, very bad. The Muslim clerics in the north came and sold this fraudulent Muslim ticket, and we have Muslim vice president, Muslim president. Our people in the north are saying, well, you are killing Muslims. You are inflicting a lot more pain on Muslims. You close the border along all seven northern states because of you want to go to war with Niger. You are inflicting pain on top of that. Now you are killing Muslims. And look at the military hierarchy. People are being mischievous. Look at the operational military hierarchy and look at their religion. They need to be very careful. The military needs to be very careful and start doing damage control fast. Meeting community leaders, traditional rulers, religious leaders, and stop issuing these annoying, stupid statements from DHQ.
So, Professor Usman Yusuf, you have a lot of experience, not just in terms of public policy, but certainly in terms of issues that are related to security. You worked with the former chief of defense staff, secretary to the committee that negotiated the release of the last batch of hostages. What is the solution to this security crisis, not just in the north, but in other parts of Nigeria as well, such as the southeast? Is it necessarily political and not military? What would your recommendations be?
I have said it time and time again. All these major three conflicts you have in Nigeria, from banditry in the northwest and the north central, now is going to the northeast, to Boko Haram, to the IPOB issue in the southeast. None of these problems are military. The military did not bring banditry. Neither did it bring Boko Haram or that. This is all as a result of corruption and bad governance. Politicians brought this mess, and the military is brought in to clean up after their mess. And the military is thinking they are going to solve this problem because the past president, Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari, thought and looked at banditry just in the prism of military. I've said it time and time again, there's a role for the military. There is not going to be a military solution to any of these three conflicts, because In the history of warfare, nowhere have conflicts like this been won on the battlefield. And they're saying no dialogue, no dialogue. Whoever says that doesn't know what he's talking about. Dialogue is a legitimate tool of warfare everywhere in the world. You must dialogue. Currently, as we speak, the governor of Borno State last week said there are over 160,000 Boko Haram, repentant Boko Haram. They didn't come because you go killing. By dialoguing and getting them, you have done one thing and you've gotten them off of the battlefield. And you must solve this problem. The military, Nigerian military, is spread all across 36 states. Does not have the capacity, we know, doesn't have people on the ground. We've been to 9 forests, there's not a single soldier in our forest. They are dropping ordnance thinking they won this war, they win this war by dropping ordnances. No. We need to back off. There's a role for the military. There's not going to be a military solution. It's a whole community approach. Everybody must be involved. The current leadership of the military, their body language and what they are talking about, they are being hawkish. There's a reason. They are rattling the cage for more money. Well, guess what? They've gotten more money. The little budget we have, they have the largest, the lion's share.
Yes, they do. Just like they did under Bukwari. Now, did you see that man's face, yeah? Yusuf. Is the guy. 1 second.
Drop your phone. Who are you?
I'll come back to that. So those are the victims of the military mistake bombing. The people that Nigeria military bombed mistakenly. That has already triggered reactions. And you see that guy, Yusuf, happened to be the guy that was always next to Sheikh Osama bin Gumi when he was meeting with those terrorists. Okay? So, under Bukwari, some governors in northern Nigeria, okay, they funded the, what they call the peace movement or something like that for Osama bin Gumi. And it was provided with security, money, logistics, and the rest of that. So there were those who said that using the military to go after the terrorists is not the solution. There were also those who informed Nigerians that to a few places they have been to, they can authoritatively tell all of us that Nigeria has no capacity militarily to end terrorism. So because they said the vast land and forest of Nigeria have all been occupied by different terrorists. Many of them they met in the presence of security agents, Nigerian security agents, by the way. However, in the last 6 months, it seemed just as expected. Tinubu has been replacing people at different government positions, ministries, parastatals, and all that, and agencies. And he has been replacing them with his own people, like Bukwari did. Some of the places where, where these rogues, these terrorists up north have received protections to the point that Nigeria has been spending billions in the name of rehabilitating terrorists that have provided almost nothing to help end the terrorism up north. Sure you get. So they said the last 6 months, it be like say the money is not really coming. That is one. Secondly, the people being killed and kidnapped up north, they are now being less reported. The people that told us that protesting was haram, they believe now that it is no longer haram. They believe that Nigeria media is not reporting the killings in northern Nigeria, especially in the last 6 months. They believe that Tinubu has finally abandoned them, despite the fact that they have Muslim president, Muslim vice president. A lot of the horrible things going on in northern Nigeria are underreported or not reported at all. Here you get. It's like Tinubu has abandoned them. And I'm like, it's not just you. So you see this airstrike that killed over 150 people. Baba, for the first time, these northerners, they are now angry that this is not a mistake. Under Bokwari, the Nigerian military and the Nigerian Air Force, they coordinated mistake airstrikes that killed thousands of Nigerians. Under Bokwari, they conducted more than 30 mistaken airstrikes, including Olu. God knows how many bombs they dropped on Olu in 4 years of terrorist campaign in that part of eastern Nigeria. They didn't have that on record, but the official record of their mistaken airstrike that they themselves admitted to was put at 15 airstrikes, mistaken airstrikes that killed over 1,100 people under Bokwari. These northern criminals, these northern jihadists, they were not offended. They were not angry because Bokwari was doing the killings. Now, they are offended. You are killing Muslims? You are bombing Muslims? No, something is wrong. Somebody is doing this. You remember Shehu Sani? He speaks on that too. I want you to listen.
And I believe that if action is not taken, it's going to get worse. Kaduna is the only state where you have consistency of kidnapping in school. Terrorists attack the Greenfield University, kill students and kidnap students. Terror attack Bethel Baptist High School in Kajuru. They kill students, they kidnap students. Terrorists attack School of Agri-Mechanization in Kaduna State. They kill students and kidnap students. So these are all incidences that happen within Kaduna State alone. And the governor of the past has done nothing. So it is time for the federal government to come to the aid of Kaduna State and save us from the hands of terrorists and bandits.
Beyond temporary measures, what do you think will be the final solution to these incessant attacks, especially in North Central?
You see, you cannot...
And Northwest,
yeah,
of course.
You see, you cannot fight terrorism without the cooperation of people in this community. The military, the security apparatus of the state need the intelligence, need the support, need the solidarity of the masses, the peasants and the ones living in the periphery of the city, to give them the necessary information for them to launch attack. But the questions need to be asked. Why is it with all the trillions of naira we have pumped into defense and security in the last 8 years, still some of these top-ranking terrorists are still roaming freely? We have seen video upon video of terrorists moving on motorcycles in Niger State, in Katsina State, in Zamfara State, without attacks launched on them. Sometimes you even see Abosus Wuchi, let them pass. So if you don't launch attacks on terrorists on motorcycles, who are you going to kill? And then we hear Google and see that bombing has neutralized so number of terrorists, and the next day you see them moving on. There was a time it was even said that Bello Turjins was cornered, and he was even begging for freedom. But it happens to be all hoax. So if we want to get down and address this problem of terrorism, then we have to show no mercy specifically targeted at these terrorist heads. Turji is still operating freely. Aleru is still operating freely. Baleri is still operating freely. Dogojide is still operating freely.
Are they in cohort with some powerful people?
Well, the question you need to ask yourself is this. All these monies that have been gathered and been taken to these terrorists, what do they use it for? In Bethel Baptist High School, I was there after the kidnapping happened. And I've seen how women sold their homes, sold their lands, sold their personal possession to gather money and pay ransom. And the state government in Kaduna did nothing at that time. I was there in Greenfield University when terrorists launched attacks and kidnapped over 200 students. Over 280 million naira was gathered by the parents of the students, given to terrorists to retrieve their ones, and about 5 students were killed. In School of Agri-Mechanization, Mondo, the parents spent over 180 million naira. Some went into loans, some sold their possessions, some borrowed money from family and friends to retrieve their loved ones from the hands of terrorists. And the state government did nothing. The attack that happened on the train, many of the families of those people who were attacked are today homeless. Since the attack happened, and then their loved ones came back home after paying a hefty sum of money, no government has sat down with them and said, this is a refund of the money you have paid. None. We ask ourselves questions. If there are no powerful forces behind these terrorists, where does the money go? If you look at all these riffraffs on the ground who are said to be involved in this kidnapping, if you happen to meet one of them, you will see even a shirt worth 1,000 naira on his body. So it shows that the money goes to somewhere and to somebody. Because narratives and revelations coming in from former victims of this kidnapping, they said that those who kidnapped them threatened them that don't waste your time, that if you attempt to run or to do anything, you are simply wasting your time. We have our connections. Until and unless the government is able to break this code and reach out to the financiers, the sponsors and beneficiaries of these abductions, these things is not going to come to an end.
Okay, we have run out of time, but I want your take. What should government do to survivors of this carnage in Kaduna?
First of all, there is a need to take the inventory of the casualties, the children, the women, and the men that were killed. And secondly, to take the inventory of the families they left behind. If they were alive, they are the breadwinners of their families. Government have to take both short and long-term responsibility. They have to rebuild that village, one. They have to compensate, serious compensation, not just hand out a palliative mantra of sharing rice and beans to people in a small pack. Not that. They have to sit down with them, pay them what is due as far as compensation is concerned. And the last point of it is to take care and responsibility of the ones, the young people, young children they left behind.
All right.
So, do I need to add more? The terrorism industry in Nigeria has grown over the years. No thanks to APC, Egbekegbe. And it is true. Billions upon billions of Nigerians' naira has ended in the hands of ragtag, dirty-looking terrorists. Of course, if you know Nigeria very well, you know what people have actually said as well? Some of the survivors of kidnappings in Nigeria, they said most kidnappings usually take place either before police or military checkpoints or after that. To the point that a mile back where you are to be kidnapped, you probably just met a roadblock, or there is a mile ahead, there's a police or military roadblock. Also, Nigeria spends so much money acquiring technologies to discover and detect those who are involved in terrorism by their bank transactions, by their phone conversations, and the rest of that, Baba, in Nigeria. See, oh my man, Nigeria is a crime scene, 100%. In Nigeria, now the police, the police will be advising you to pay the ransom. In public, by law, you are not allowed to pay ransom to kidnappers. But in reality, now the police will help you, guide you. In fact, tutor you how to pay the ransom if you want your loved ones back. Despite, even if your loved ones are using their mobile phone to connect and contact you, where they can easily see their location, where they can easily conduct, you know what do you call it? A special operation like you see in the movies. Shoot a tear gas that will make everybody sleep, pass out. Arrest, separate the kidnappers from the kidnapped. Is that not possible? People were selling their properties. They are becoming homeless, wretched. The poverty you are seeing in Nigeria today, there are so many factors to it. How everyone became poor. And some of you are still watching me right now, and you are the waiting victim. It can happen to you tonight. Yours may be tomorrow. Mine may be next week. If I find myself breathing the air of Nigeria, any one of us could be a victim and coming back to tell the story. Baba, it's going to be a lifetime trauma. Trust me. So all of that money, how come? Is because how come they've not been able to really trace and you know what I mean, like apprehend the criminals. Where does all that money go? Because it goes back into that system. The criminals are moving about in tinted vehicles escorted by the Nigerian police and army, and these are the money launderers. These are the human traffickers. These are the drug dealers. These are your honorables. These are your governors. These are your senators. This is your president. This is your vice president. Take a look at the mirror and see when they said they have powerful people here and there. Who do you think they will be? A lot of us we have watched some of these action movies. They kidnapped 200 people. How did they do that? Then they started making contact. They are the family members of the kidnapped. They are left on their own. Nigerian politicians will be withdrawing money, and they will say they are doing investigation on those kidnapped, but they are doing nothing. Their family members, relatives, they'll be selling off all their possessions to get back their family members. Those whose family dies, the trauma lives with all of them for the rest of their lives. But when you look at the government data, they will say, oh, you remember when they kidnapped to fight insecurity in Kaduna, we spent over 80 billion naira. 80 billion naira to fight what? To fund terrorism. That is what they did. So under Bokuwari, the northern Nigerian criminal leaders, they were always inciting the gullible ones in northern Nigeria that anyone though things are bad, though they are being killed, they are being kidnapped, they should be praying for Buhari. They must not join those who are criticizing Buhari. It is haram. They must remember that Buhari is a Muslim and Buhari is a northerner. So if Buhari is not there, it's going to be Oshibajo, and Oshibajo is an infidel. These criminal politicians from northern Nigeria, the religious bodies, all these, they are sheikh and all of them, many of them who are those in this criminal enterprise. They were telling the people that criticizing Buhari was like criticizing the prophet. You won't believe it. Same people that will kill you for blasphemy, they deify the Buhari in the northern Nigeria. They were burying their young ones, old ones. They were burying their own loved ones. But they were not allowed to express that disappointment. But they are already coming out of their cocoon now. Trust me. You now have a Southerner, Tinubu, who also don't give a just like Buhari didn't give a fuck. Tinubu doesn't too. And it is not because you are northerners. It is not because you are a Christian or you are, it's not. You have been living a delulu life, deluded life, when you allowed yourselves to be used in trying to legitimize a fraud to the point that lójú ẹ̀mí wa, right before our very eyes, Baba, I saw Shege. Shege, they do hypocrisy, and Shege no get shame. Ma put on this way, lójú ẹ̀mí wa, forgery is no longer haram. Drug dealing, drug trafficking, no longer haram. Somebody who is a druggie, drug dealer, hey, certificate forger. All this no longer matter in Islam of this hypocrite. They were there because Muslim. Now they want to come back and tell us that Tinubu does not like Muslim. And Shiere. Like, like Shiere. Tinubu, like Buhari, will use the same system, okay? And they will show you the shege, the sense where you no get for the next 8 years. Elomura, I have told you this before it happened. Now only Asarailu. At least if you are from northern Nigeria, you understand what is called Asarailu. Asarailu is death. Iku. Now only Asarailu can save you from Kolu. Election cannot save you. If you decided to change your constitution, here you get, with the level of audacity and confidence that they have, if Kolu, even if Kolu can no longer work, if Kolu can no longer talk and is using a sign language, if Kolu decided to stay in Paris for 1 year, listen to me very well, okay? You will do nothing. Trust me. Asarailu is the only thing that will save you from him. I've said it before. And I'm actually hoping that you're going to prove me wrong. 8 years that you are waiting for the infidel tears. Some of you are even like suffering and smiling, suffer ahead in northern Nigeria. No job, no real economy. terrorism everywhere. And right there, you are still thinking there's something special about you if you are not deluded. Some of you said, Igbos can never be president in Nigeria. Remember that. For the next, after 8 years of Tinubu, shitty man go there. Sure, you go do 8. Who will go next? Maybe Gbajabia Mole. That will go do 8. How now they share them again? And he will now go back to the north. El-Rufai go do 8. So for the next 16, the next 32 years, Igbos will never be president. We realize what the skeleton. To last, if some of you last the next 8 years, Aba, it will be like say you are only being preserved as the last surviving species of your kind, so that the next coming generation they can use you as an example. Look at that guy. How old do you think he is? How can you call him a guy? That one look like it should be like 80 years old. Say, no. Those are the people who survived Boko Haram and Tinubu in Nigeria. Those are the last survivors. They are different species. He's just 33 years old. 33, sir. Yeah. I mean, there are some hybrid Nigerians, okay? There are some crossbreed Nigerians. Now, poverty will finally put everybody to where they truly belong. Surely those of you who survived 8 years of Tinubu, Boko Haram, could guarantee that you will survive the next of Tinubu. Whatever you faced under Boko Haram, things like government not giving a damn, or whenever you get killed, they will say, we'll make sure we bring the perpetrators to book. Under Boko Haram, everyday terrorism, you know what they were doing? Oh, Boko Haram has ordered the military to bring the perpetrators to book. Boko Haram was sad for the news of as he has ordered investigation and the perpetrators must be brought to the book. Baba, last when Boko Haram was going, we asked him for the book of where the perpetrators, to check on the perpetrators they've brought to the book. Baba, we realized that the book only exists in your brain, in your head, in your imagination. Toriko si book, kaka. No, there's no book. Now, whatever it is you suffered under Boko Haram, whether the ones that you are denying, the ones that you are pretending and giving glory to God, we give glory to God. We thank God. I'm not saying you shouldn't too. I'm saying all that thing, all that pain, the pain you are hiding behind that your smile. When somebody says, how are you managing? And then you smile. Mayegun, it is the grace of God. It's not easy. Mayegun, honestly, you are giving me a fake smile. You are hiding that pain. Now, me, I am speaking to that pain now. That what you survived under Boko Haram, imagine that times 5. I'm not wishing it on you. It might happen. It's going to happen. The only problem that will reduce the effect is that a lot of you are built, okay, to develop your own coping mechanism whenever this weapon that is fashioned against you fired an arrow at you. Bah! Job don't go. Because na jeje you dey. And these rogues, like I said, they have made Nigeria the weapon fashioned against us. And na jeje you go dey. You go just hear a pa. Trust me. Tinubu's party is going to be much like, how can I say it without scaring you? There is no how. Maybe if you are scared, when you are given whenever you are given an option, a choice, you'll be careful in how you choose, won't you? Great. Now, going forward, the people got killed at Tudun, Biri. They want Tinubu's minister or ministers. Badaru, the former Jigawa governor, who is now the Minister of Defense. Matawale, who was the former governor of Zamfara. Zamfara, who is also a Minister of State. These people bust themselves to Abuja and straight to the National Assembly. I'll show you, which started this way.